This is Good E-Reader News with Michael Kozlowski. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a ton of Barnes & Noble news for you guys today. Let's jump right into it. Barnes & Noble has hired a new CEO in the form of former Sears CEO Ron Boyer. Now, Sears is a company that's been around for almost 100 years and it's filing for bankruptcy. It's pretty well all over. So he's looking for a new job. He'll be starting September for Barnes & Noble, and I have it on good authority that he will probably kill the Nook division. In a recent financial quarterly results, Barnes & Noble experienced 40% less sales year on year than it did on previous years for the entire Nook division, which includes e-readers, tablets, ebooks, and everything else. Now, he is an outside CEO where, for the most part, Barnes & Noble has always hired their CEOs internally and have promoted executives internally up into the higher echelons of management. So he doesn't really have a fundamental attachment to Nook. But how tech savvy is this guy? Well, Sears is not really known as a tech type of haven. It's a department store. He did work at Best Buy from 2003 to 2006. He was responsible for global technology and vendor management, and prior to that he worked for 17 years at Sony, and he worked in the burgeoning mobile sector. Now, he's been out of the tech game for a really long time, whereas Barnes & Noble has only really been involved in tech since relatively a few years after the Amazon Kindle first was released. So say about 2009 is when Barnes & Noble really started pushing hard into the digital arena, both ebooks and e-readers. They've been attached to it, even though that it's been pretty well a financial black hole in terms of lost revenue. And I really think that Ron will be killing the Nook division because it's the most unprofitable segment of the entire company, and it pretty well makes sense to get out of hardware altogether. So no more Nook e-readers, no more Nook tablets, and focusing more on audiobooks, e-books, digital content on their website, as well as more of a continued focus on their apps for iOS, for Android, and really making those experiences as well as they could possibly make it. Yeah, in other Barnes & Noble news, they revised and relaunched a new website, and this has been a 2-year project for them, and it's creating a lot of errors. The new website does look polished, but there is a ton of errors that users are reporting, such as the inability to view samples, chapters, and previews. If you have any previous purchased content, Nook for Web is completely broken. So if you are a Mac user, the only way that you could read your ebook collection is to read them online. But because the online e-reader system is broken currently with the new website design, you can't even do that. In other Barnes & Noble news, Barnes & Noble has said that they are going to stop selling ebooks internationally, and anybody who used the Windows 8 Barnes & Noble e-reading app can apply for refunds from Microsoft. Now, Barnes & Noble and Microsoft had an investment deal a few years ago where Microsoft put in about $300 million into Barnes & Noble to create a unified e-reading app for all Windows computers. And this really allowed Barnes & Noble to focus more on international markets. But because Barnes & Noble bought back Microsoft's investment in them, that they have officially announced that they are suspending the Windows 8 app, so it will not be available I think starting this August. And if you have any books that you have bought from there, obviously you can't use the reading app anymore, so Microsoft will grant refunds for any of the books that you have purchased via the Windows reading app to date. So things look bleak for Barnes & Noble. A new CEO with no tech experience, a broken website, and the company focusing now on the US and UK exclusively at the expense of international expansion. What do you guys think about all three of these stories? Drop a comment below. For Good E-Reader News, my name is Michael, and everybody take care.